Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan, and thanks for coming to the channel. I'm sitting in my fish room, which I adore, trying to give you a little bit of a swell background if you have to endure my silly face. This is sort of a fun one. I had another one of my kind of health club epiphanies. I think I was on the elliptical, and I was just thinking about what kind of content would be interesting, rather than just another tank update, which is kind of what these things are all about. I'm not doing this, honestly, for money or any financial gain or support in that regard. That would be wonderful. Love to quit my day job, but that's not happening anytime soon. And so basically, I'm sharing my hobby, the things I know and the mistakes I made, just like all you other YouTubers, fish tubers. Nothing special there, but I'm thinking people who relate to one fish tuber or another, like their sense of aesthetic or their vibe, then they'll just start watching, and you just develop a community that way. And that's why I'm in, and that's why you're probably in, right? If you wanted warranties or product advice, that'll come incidentally on this channel, but not typically. That being said, I did have kind of a fun idea. I'm reading a book about one of the founders of the aquarium trade in general, and back then, he said everything was super low tech, and they were inventing stuff as they went, like in Florida with fish ponds and stuff, and it's fascinating. I enjoy it. I've got a couple books like that, and I'll share them with you for sure if you're interested. But it got me thinking about this idea of low tech, high tech, right? So basically, by the existing criteria, I am doing high tech systems. And the way I've sort of defined that is in a couple key criteria. One is, are you spending some time and money on the hobby? Because if you're just throwing something together, putting in a bubbler or a sponge, is probably a low-tech system. Not necessarily, but probably. And high-tech, in my view, involves someone like me who spent extra money on their aquarium, the box itself, the filter, and researched how to optimize all the tools that we use, and kind of critically the use of CO2. When you boil it all down, high tech often just means people who use CO2 or don't use CO2, and everything else is sort of a gray area. And that got me thinking, is there really much of a difference at all? And what do you think high tech is? Well, I used to do a lot of marketing in the technology sector, software, data analytics, security, all that stuff. And it was super algorithmic and very technical, specific, and focused on numbers and exacting data. The aquarium hobby, I don't care who you are, how many followers. Honestly, in my view, no matter what we like to think of ourselves and our systems, this stuff is really low tech. I mean, I invite you to open the cabinet of almost anybody's fish tank and look below and see the jumble of tubes and plugs and extension cords. I mean, it's a madhouse down there. It looks like some sort of alien abortion, right? With just wires and tubes, and there's water going this way, and you've jerry-rigged that, and you've duct taped this, and you've created or invented some sort of system. Whoop, excuse my hand. See, low tech, right? Like this video, very low tech, a phone facing me. But it's that jumble of cords and all that kind of crazy nonsense that goes on beneath or behind our aquariums. And I don't know, there might be an Apex digital controller, but I mean, I do some work for clients and my own stuff, and I use dosing systems in saltwater and freshwater. They are tubes I got at Petco that are stuck into plastic bottles that may or may not be dripping a chemical into your fish tank. And then we test by putting more liquid into test tubes with some water and looking at color against the paper chart. Look, if my doctor was handling a serious diagnosis in that fashion, I'd probably jump out of the window of his office. That is so low tech. It's crazy. And there's water, and we've got rags, and even the super duper pros, I'm talking about you, Aquarium Co-op, and those guys in the Netherlands and Germany, except for a very few exact, highly developed, super expensive, deeply maintained, probably with help, systems, we're all low tech. We've got water, we have it in a glass box, and we're pumping it through floss and media and collecting shit that turns into biological filtration. This stuff is so organic, so low tech. It made me smile, it made me laugh when I realized this hobby, for all its innovation, it's still incredibly low tech. And I'm okay with that, and I'm guessing you are too. So that's my epiphany. Tell me what you think. Am I onto something? And if I am, really, what is it? I'm just sort of having fun telling you my opinion about something. But be not deceived. In front of, underneath my display aquarium, which I like to think is pretty sweet, it's there's a really gnarly sump with a bunch of tubes and pumps. And when things kind of aren't working right, I do quick fixes and do long-term fixes and go on YouTube, and maybe I buy a new part. But it feels like 1950s auto mechanic, right? It doesn't feel like a digital solution, even if we use digital solutions. So that's my hot take, if you will. And I'd love to hear from you. And as always, high tech, low tech, always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.